Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We finally hear about Ukrainian casualties, and we find that the month of May was the month when Ukraine had the greatest losses during the war. We have this article from We have this article from Ukrainska Pravda from July 15th, 2022. This is the title. Armed forces of Ukraine suffered their greatest losses in May, Defense Minister states. Oleksiy Reznikov. The thing is, Reznikov sounds more like Russian than Ukrainian. As I stated, usually Ukrainians have Chuk at the end, Kasmanchuk. Russians have Kasmanov or Kasmankov, but nevertheless. So Oleksiy Reznikov, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, says that the armed forces of Ukraine suffered their greatest losses in the conflict with the Russian invaders in May of this year, when up to 100 soldiers were dying every day. Quote from Reznikov: "Our losses hit their peak in May, when Mikhailo Podolyak and the president spoke in June. They were the ones they had in mind." Details. According to Reznikov, during this period, up to 100 soldiers were being killed and 300 to 400 wounded per day. Phew, that's a lot. Now that's a war. Not 3 rockets here, 5 missiles there. Nah. The Minister of Defense admitted that the occupiers had a significant advantage at the time, especially in the Donetsk front. The invaders were using up to 1,000 artillery shells per hour. I made a video on that. I doubt it, but maybe. The armed forces of Ukraine did not have that number of shells. Background. In mid-May, President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that 50 to 100 Ukrainian soldiers per day may be dying in battles with the Russian invaders on the most difficult fronts in the east of Ukraine. In early June, Mikhailo Podolyak, the advisor to the head of the president's office, reported that the Ukrainian military was then losing 100 to 200 people every day. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the invaders have lost 38,000 personnel since the beginning of the military aggression. I posted another video regarding the reason why Ukraine does not publish their losses, the personnel and the military, like the weapons, tanks or airplanes and so on. I mean, it's logical, but it was funny why the spokeswoman said, she claimed that is because that would help the Russians' intelligence or something like that. Just make up some numbers, which they all do. So say 0, nobody died. Or say something like that. They tell them we're like 50 million died out of 40. Make something like that. What do you think? The Russians will change their tactic if you tell them that it's been like 5,000, they're going to use it? Then don't believe it anyway. If you say there were 35,000 Ukrainian killed, or you say that's 500 killed since the beginning of the war, do you think that the Russians will believe that? They can make up numbers as well. They can say, well, you know what? Actually, we killed about 5 million Ukrainians, and we have prisoners about, I don't know, 3 million. Who's gonna dispute that? Everybody? And will they care? No, because that's aimed at their population. As these numbers are aimed at their population, including the thinking that they can, influence the Russians somehow. Look how many died. Why don't you overthrow Putin? He's losing the war, basically. All right. Well, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth if you can find it, and be just when you can. I think always.